I do these character deep dives, I try to stick mainly to core Disney. I care about Disney, not the 10 million properties it owns. Anything outside of that isn't really interesting for me to talk about. So if you ask me to cover an obscure Marvel character or some random Star Wars character, I probably won't. I make exceptions when they relate to something directly Disney, like when I talked about Rex from Star Tours, but that's the extent of it. Though all of these rules aren't really hard or anything, I'll make exceptions when I find something interesting enough to talk about. So, who here likes the Muppets? Good, because I do too. I wish Disney felt the same way. The Disney years for the Muppets have been kind of a mixed bag. For every hit, there's been a flop. It kind of seems like whoever's in charge doesn't really know what to do with them, so they're just shrugging and doing random stuff. I can appreciate all the new things they're trying, but none of them have really clicked. Franchises go through up and downs all the time, of course, but when it happens to one you like a lot, it is kind of sad. But it hasn't all been bad. Some Muppets have really gotten to shine in the modern age. Like the subject of today's video, Uncle Deadly. Uncle Deadly started off as a gag character on The Muppet Show, fading into obscurity shortly after. But in the past decade, he's really grown in popularity, making more and more appearances in Muppet productions. Yeah, he hasn't risen to the star status like Kermit or Miss Piggy, but he has a respectable place as a supporting character. But who is he in the first place? Well, only one way to find out. Let's dig into his history and find out just what makes him tick. In order to discuss Uncle Deadly's characterization, we have to do it out of order. Because while he appeared on The Muppet Show before this episode, he made his first proper appearance in Season 1, Episode 21. The Muppet Show is being haunted by a mysterious phantom. Kermit is ever the skeptic, not believing all of the hullabaloo, until it's staring him right in the face.
Pardon me, sir, but is there a logical explanation for your presence here?
Uncle Deadly was once a Shakespearean actor in the Muppet Theater, but on opening night of his most difficult role, Othello, he was killed.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. Who killed you?
The critics.
Now he haunts the theater forever, making sure that no one performs there again. It's a great episode and one of my favorites, and it's a nice introduction to his character. Uncle Deadly's first appearance came 2 episodes prior. Anytime you look up a list of best Muppet Show episodes, this one is always on there, and for good reason. I love it. Anyways, Deadly acts as kind of a henchman to Vincent Price, that episode's guest star. We get to see him in 2 separate sketches. In the first, Fozzie and Gonzo had ended up at a haunted castle, owned by Price. But danger is afoot, because at the stroke of midnight, he turns into a horrible beast.
And then I get mean.
I won't spoil the punchline, but it's great. Deadly and Price appear together one more time at the end, where they sing a song. You've Got a Friend by Carole King. It's as priceless as you'd imagine. Those 2 are just a match made in heaven. They even reunited years later when the Muppets hosted The Tonight Show. Also, yes, I am aware that Vincent Price is playing the owner of a haunted manor. You don't have to point out the connection in the comments. The best way to describe Deadly's characterization in The Muppet Show is... he's like a villain in an old horror movie. And I'm talking old, like the kind you'd see in an old school Universal horror film. He's conniving, but he does it with a lot of class and elegance. He was even inspired by John Carradine. Looks-wise, he appears to be some kind of reptile. Most fans have settled on dragon because he's got the big tail, but it's never been confirmed one way or the other. Deadly appeared on and off again for the rest of the series. He got to perform with people like Edgar Bergen, Ethel Merman, Julie Andrews, and more. He even got a solo in Season 2. Please refer to the disclaimer at the beginning. His most significant appearance in the show was the Muppet melodrama segments in Season 3. He got to play the over-the-top bad guy you see in old melodramas, the mustache-twirling kind that would tie a girl to train tracks. Miss Piggy was the damsel in distress, while Wayne, of Wayne and Wanda, came in to save her. But Wayne and Deadly ended up becoming friends, leaving Peggy to her fate. I feel like I've read a ton of fanfics with this premise. After The Muppet Show came to an end, Deadly's career kinda dried up. For decades, he only made cameos. You were only able to see him in the big Muppet scenes at the end of the movies. He appeared in the Disney World special and helped beat up Michael Eisner, but aside from that, nothing. According to Muppet writers Jim Lewis, Kirk Thatcher, and John Daravalny, there were plans for him in the 90s. They envisioned a horror anthology series starring Deadly, in the vein of Tales from the Crypt or Goosebumps, but with a goofy, Muppety twist, of course. I imagine that he would have been like a Crypt Keeper type character, but I guess we can't know for certain. However, the project never took off. It seemed like Deadly would fall into obscurity, never to be seen again. But his luck changed in 2011, when the film The Muppets was released. Deadly plays an assistant to Chris Cooper's character, who wants to destroy the Muppet Studio to drill for oil. I forgot how meta and tongue-in-cheek this movie is, it's great. While his part was relatively brief, it was the first content of him we had gotten in 2 decades. And he does get a couple of great moments to shine. Deadly appeared in the next film, Muppets Most Wanted, but in a greatly reduced role. And the film didn't do nearly as well as that one, so I can only assume it's because Deadly wasn't in it that much. But it was the 2015 Muppet series on ABC that cemented his place in the Muppet lineup. This was a slice-of-life, workplace sitcom in the vein of something like The Office. Here, Deadly plays Piggy's assistant, helping with wardrobe in her show, Up Late with Miss Piggy. Plus, he's a fashion designer. No longer a creature of darkness, now he was fashionable and high class. One thing remains the same, though.
I'm the beautiful assistant.
He reprised this role with the Muppets Now show on Disney+. So this seems to be the story they're sticking with for the moment. Not that he's lost his foolish side. That still shines from time to time. Deadly was originally performed by the late Jerry Nelson, one of the lead writers for the Muppets for many years. He also played characters like Statler, Robin, the Count, and Emmett Otter. Deadly is currently played by Matt Vogel, the current performer of Kermit and Big Bird, among others. With how limited his appearances have been before, Vogel was given a lot of creative freedom, allowing Deadly to become something new. At D23 in 2019, he made an appearance at a panel commemorating the Haunted Mansion's 50th anniversary. He participated in a live reading of Exitensia's original script, accompanied by Sally Slater, the Tightrope Girl. He read for the ghost host, as you'd expect, and, as it turns out, he haunts the mansion every Tuesday and Thursday.
Now, Uncle Deadly, when's the last time you were at the Haunted Mansion?
Oh, well, I haunt the Haunted Mansion every Tuesday and Thursday. I take the weekends off.
And in 2021, he hosted a Haunted Mansion history series right here on YouTube. If you're wondering why I brought this up, 1, welcome to my channel, and 2, it's a nice way to segue into one of his more recent appearances. In Muppets Haunted Mansion, he played an officiary for Pepe and Constance's wedding. He's apparently done this for all of her grooms because he seems a little exasperated to be doing it again. Nothing like this character exists in the ride, but in a spooky special, you have to find a place for Uncle Deadly. Those are just the rules. And yes, Muppets Haunted Mansion will be covered in a separate video in the future, so stay tuned for that. Uncle Deadly has been a welcome addition to the Muppet cast. He fills a role that other Muppets couldn't really fill before. I wouldn't really call any of them dignified or elegant, but Deadly fits that description to a T. I'm glad to see him finally getting used to his full potential, even if it was different than how it was originally. And as the franchise continues to evolve and change, I hope he'll be sticking around for the long run.
Well, every week this show looks better to me.
Every week your eyesight gets worse.
And that concludes the video. Now I'll pass the question on to you. What do you think of Uncle Deadly and his evolution? What would you like to see be done with him next? Who are your favorite Muppet cast members? Whatever you're thinking, let me know down in the comments. If you'd like to support the show, consider donating to my Patreon or Ko-fi page. If not, then be sure to like and subscribe to see more of my stuff. But that's all the time I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching as always, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care. On the off chance someone at Muppet Studios is watching this, Muppets Phantom of the Opera, make it happen. I'll get you started. Eric, Ral, Carlotta, the managers, the rat catcher, Bouquet, Christina DeRoga are the token humans. I don't care who you cast. You can do new songs. You can have it all creepy. You can make it like the book, which would be a first. It'd be perfect. Come on. Please do this.